Hey, my beautiful souls, how you doing? All right, welcome to the intuitive card reading for May 2025. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the reading and the energies and the influences of the month. What else? Comments down below. Just be kind. Let me know how this resonates with you or how it might resonate with you. And I think that's it, guys. Let's just jump into May and see how it's going to go. What else? I have to tell you guys something. Oh, yeah. I shuffled same 3 card decks that I've been using, and also shuffled in different order. Yeah, definitely in a different order. Okay, guys, let's jump right into it and see what we need for the month of May. Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. All right, guys, we need to start listening to our soul more. Not our heart, not our intuition, our soul. Well, actually, intuition is the voice of the soul. So yes, listen to that. But heart and mind is what I meant to say. All right, so follow the voice of your soul. So what is your soul calling you to do? You guys are going to start feeling that more and more. When I tell you that this is a positive thing for a lot of different reasons, especially because it kind of hints that we're kind of moving out of like a survival type mode because, we're not, we're trying to the soul is about like self-actualization, which, our soul is about reaching our potential. Our soul is about doing things that we're called to do, that kind of thing. So this is a good sign, basically. So basically we need to, it could also be because we're kind of moving a little bit towards, or we've been so long not following that, and we're moving in a more misaligned direction. So Spirit is asking us to really follow our soul and move into a more aligned direction. So we might be going kind of a little too off to the other side. Or for me, I feel like I haven't been doing much to really fulfill my soul because I am in survival mode and I have to do whatever I have to do to survive every single day. So, meaning like I got to get my brain working, I got to get myself, I got to make sure money comes in, things like that. So now this is basically saying, hey, listen to, it's going to be a very loud call, it feels like, for sure. So let's keep going and maybe we get more hints as we go around that really solidify that and validate that. All right, action needed. We have damsel, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. Okay, this is about waiting around for someone, okay? This is about waiting around for something. So this is basically saying, no, you need to take action on something. You can't wait around for it. The thing that comes to my mind right here is basically, I see this all the time because I watch interviews by, actors and things like that where, they're waiting for that perfect role to, in that perfect movie so they can, get recognized, and they're, they keep auditioning and they're not getting the roles that they want. So they go ahead and write their own role, raise their own money and produce their own film, right? And then, they're actually doing something about it. They're not necessarily waiting to be cast in that perfect thing. They're actually taking initiative and doing it themselves. That's what this action is about. So this is really powerful action energy coming at us, okay? So basically it's saying, if you're not getting the results that you want, or you're not getting the life that you want, or you're not getting X, Y, or Z, you need to create it yourself. That's what it's saying here. That's the opposite. That's the shadow of the damsel, basically. It's basically saying you can't sit there and expect that to happen. And you're going to start noticing that in May and starting to really saying like, no, I need to make something happen. I need to make it happen for myself. I love this energy. It's very, so far, guys, inspiring energy, which I like to see. So that's really great. All right, now we're coming to the snafus, basically, of this reading, issue and challenge. So what do we have an issue with? Deep knowing. Okay, so we've been getting the knowing here and there. Okay, we didn't get it in the last weekly. We got it, I believe, the week before. So we're still going to have issues with this. The deep knowing is always that weird, clear gift, intuitive gift of claircognizance, which basically we know something. So we might have some, it's bizarre, right? Because it's kind of saying like, I know this in my soul, speaking of soul, to be true, right? It comes from the soul. So we might have issues with trusting that because it's just so bizarre, right? How do you just know something without knowing it? it can't be explained, right? So we're going to have issues listening to that. So if you know something is for you, and more importantly, if you know something is not for you, okay, that deep knowing is really going to come in handy, but it's really going to take your own intuition and your own trusting yourself to really go with that, okay? So deep knowing is very important, but I definitely see how we can have issues with it this month. All right, what's challenging? Be devoted and committed. Oh, don't love that, because we've been getting a lot of cards that say it's time to commit. We're putting our roots down, you know, and this is not saying that we're not doing that. We're actually having issues with it. So we've got commitment issues. We've got grounding issues, all right? We've got staying present issues, okay? Being devoted to something. So we have motivation issues, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on with that where we're having issues and challenges, I rather should say, challenges in these areas, okay? So it's I use the word snafu. Yeah, it's going to be a snafu for sure. And there might be obstacles with these issues too. What I will say too is I talk a lot about force versus flow. I want to say that they're kind of difficult. They're kind of different from, it's not going to feel like forced energy. It's going to feel like that we need to plow through the obstacles. Like, it's not necessarily going to be like that feeling like, oh, this isn't for me, or this is so hard. It's just going to present maybe additional triggers we didn't know about that have to do with, you know, being motivated or, you know, committing to something or you know, being grounded in something or whatever it actually is. So there's definitely going to be challenges and obstacles, but it's still, you know, the commitment stuff is still for us. At least that's kind of like the message that I'm getting here. So, so when things like that come up, we have to deal with them. And it definitely is saying that we definitely have to deal with them. All right, we have King upside down, excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint. Okay. All right, so what's changing? Okay, so King, this is basically saying like, you get to do whatever you want. You get to, you know, you're entitled to certain things. So that's changing, right? So to me, how I'm interpreting this, and sometimes it comes through differently, but right now it definitely does feel like we are understanding our leadership in a way that affects other people. And we're starting to think about other people and the way that your decisions affect others. So a more maybe broad thing to say here is we are understanding that our authority shouldn't be abused. The decisions that we make, the rules that we make, the boundaries that we set, maybe boundaries is not the right word, but we're doing it for the greater good and not necessarily just for ourselves. So we're moving to like more of a mindset of like the greater good and not just myself. Like I have to start thinking about other people. Now this kind of sounds like, oh, what, were we selfish this whole time? But like an example would be, you sometimes in life, guys, we have to take care of ourselves. Like I have had to take care of myself the last several years, and like that was my main priority. It really sucks, to be honest, because I want to be giving. I want to be doing things more for other people. That's, you know, it is my purpose. It is my passion. It's the things that I want to be doing, but it's like, I cannot give more than I have, right? And I haven't had a lot, right? So, and it's kind of like the same thing about like, you know, if you're in a financial situation where, you can't buy things for other people because you have to make sure that you're being fed. And maybe if you have a child, your child is being fed, right? And you need to be able to like clothe yourself and make sure you have shelter and like all of this stuff, right? This might, like the difference for this is kind of like, now you have to think about like the more broad, you know, maybe now you're in a place where you're financially a little bit better and you can buy gifts for other people and that kind of thing. So it has something to do with that. I would say it's more so in the leadership. So if you're a leader in some way, like say you're a manager at work and you have a team or something like that, you've been kind of maybe managing from like a place more so like, what would be good for, you know, myself and my team, which is great, but now you're maybe thinking about like what would be great for the whole company, right? And you're also incorporating those ideas. So again, there's something here where we're kind of moving from a more humble, or a more the word used on the card is enlightened place, benefiting all, right? And not necessarily benefiting just like one particular thing. So take that as you will, but that's definitely what's changing in May. And maybe as we go along, we'll get more clarity on that, or maybe more validation. All right, what do we need to focus on? We've got soulmates. Okay, so focus on our relationships, especially those relationships that we are with like-minded people. We feel, guys, a lot of soul stuff is coming up, which I love. Our soul work, as I would say. So soulmates. Where you feel really connected to people. You might be meeting those new people, or the soulmates that you have in your life, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your pet, whether it's your child, whether it's your parent, like whatever it actually is. Nurture those relationships. So that's basically what it's saying focus on those relationships. They either really need you, or you really need it, right? Like maybe you have a best friend that is a soulmate and you haven't necessarily connected with them for whatever reason. And basically Spirit is saying, no, like, you know, if you can this month, it would be beneficial if you were to focus on those relationships, on that relationship particularly. And you have multiple soulmates, because it could be multiple, right? Reflect, shaman, trust, and higher forces. Okay, so this is saying, what do we need to reflect on? This is basically talking about trust. Oh God, there's so much to say about trust. Trusting in the universe, trusting ourselves. Speaking of trusting ourselves, the deep knowing, right? So it makes sense that actually is coming up here, because we have an issues trusting ourselves. So definitely reflect on trusting others, how to be more trusting in ourselves, in the universe, in how things play out in our lives, that kind of thing. So, all right, responsibilities. Teacher, we have ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Okay, so it's your responsibility to teach something to someone, meaning that what's a good example for this? You have a lot of knowledge. I'll put it this way, okay? You have a lot of knowledge. So instead of maybe getting angry at somebody because they don't know something and you feel like they should know something, because it's, you know, common knowledge maybe to you, you know, or common sense to you. I know a lot of people say certain things are common sense, but guys, it really isn't, because you have to understand, like, people come from different backgrounds, people come from different experiences, people come from different cultures, people come from all different types of backgrounds. And so this is basically, Spirit is asking us to be the teacher instead of maybe getting angry or jumping to conclusions or jumping to assumptions, and just really kind of, you know, taking advantage of that, the archetype of the teacher. And it's basically saying, like, it's your responsibility to do so. It's your responsibility to make sure you're not necessarily judging somebody or getting angry at somebody because they don't necessarily know something. So keep that in mind. So, you know, put down below how that might resonate with you in this month. I'd love to see how it does, but it's you know, some people, like, you don't know what you don't know, right? I think that's like a good saying for this. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. And so it's your responsibility to, like, tell someone if they don't know something, right? Not assuming that they don't know. I think you guys understand that. All right, money, finances, and career. What do we got? Exchanging gifts. Okay, so this is about a barter type energy, an even give and take type energy. So I love that. So money, finances, and career. So if you don't have maybe the money for something, maybe you can offer something for services back, trading services in some way, shape, or form. If you don't have a lawnmower but your neighbor does, they might say, I'll mow your lawn if you oh gosh, I don't own a home, so this doesn't come easy to me. I'll mow your lawn if you help me with my yard work with my garden next week, right? Help, because plant my, because I don't know what I'm doing, and maybe you have to teach that to me, right? So tit for tat is basically what this is. saves you money on, you know, hiring somebody to mow your lawn, you know, and it also saves the neighbor from, you know, maybe paying somebody to teach them how to garden, or spending all the hours on YouTube figuring it out, because time is also a currency, right? Time is definitely currency. So, and knowledge is currency, right? And so that makes sense with the teacher, right? Definitely even get, you know, give and take. Same thing, you know, we put career here. If you need off next Friday for your birthday, for your child's birthday, or a child's recital or something like that, and your coworker will cover you, but in 2 months they need this Friday off for, you know, whatever, you know, for whatever they have to do, for maybe a vacation with their family, and you'll cover them on that day, right? It's tit for tat, right? And so this is basically saying maximize the tit for tat, the exchanging, the barter energy. You know, just the only thing I have to say here is make sure it's even, okay? You know, somebody wants you to cover their shifts all week versus somebody wanting to cover their shift for a day. That doesn't feel even to me, but make sure it's fair, right? We got some fair energy from last week's reading, which, you know, meshed a little bit into May. So yeah, so I would, you know, make sure it's even, make sure, you know, you're not, it's not an energy of like being taken advantage of, basically. All right, surprise. Winter, take care of your needs. Okay, so surprise, take care of your needs. So you might have to take care of something of your own that maybe you thought was done, or maybe you felt like, or you didn't see coming because it's under surprise, something along those lines. And it just feels like, yeah, it just feels like we just don't forget to like take care of our own needs, because again, that king energy where we're thinking more about others, like, or the greater goods, you know, we might think that means, or we're interpreting it to mean that, you know, we don't take care of our own needs. But basically this is saying, nope, surprise, something will happen where, you know, you'll remind yourself that no, you still have to take care of yourself. All right, friends, what's going on in the friends slot here? We have athlete, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. Okay, so this is about willpower. This is about going the distance. This is about dedication. This is about, commitment and willpower and motivation, which is very interesting because we have the challenge here with somewhat similar energy saying that we're having challenges with those things. However, we have it in the friends group here saying that this is maybe the area of life that we don't necessarily have challenges with. Okay, so helping motivate a friend, or your friends helping you feel motivated, helping you be accountable to something, meaning like if you are trying to run a race, maybe a 5K, doing it with someone or other people is going to be, you know, with like a community type, is going to be more beneficial for you. So I will say in this area of life, this is the place that you're not necessarily having issues with. So, or challenges with, rather. It's kind of very easy for you to, easy for us to be motivated with other people. Yeah, so this is like I would count this as like a clue. So if you're having issues with something, being committed to something, being motivated with something, putting your roots down with something, accountability here in, you know, with close friends and people that I would count family or people that you spend a lot of time with, they could help you through that for sure. You don't have any issues in that area is basically what Spirit is saying here. So not feeling like, basically, long story short, not feeling motivated or not feeling like, or having like commitment issues, talk to a friend of yours, okay? They will help, you know, or, you know, they'll help you stay accountable, basically, or keep you in check, or keep you going, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So friends is very important this month for sure. I love that. That's a really good message there. Okay, we have romantic connection. We have a leg up. Okay, we have the advantageous energy. We haven't had this in a while. So basically this is saying like work on your, no, I'm sorry, not work on. Take advantage of what you already have. Like sometimes I say privilege, but it's saying like what's already going well for you, what you naturally can do well. Take advantage of that in a positive way, not taking advantage like in a bad way, take advantage in a positive way. So if so this is a romantic connection. So if you're really good at de-escalating a conflict in relationship, and especially in a romantic relationship, take advantage of that, right? And so basically, play on your strengths. That's what I'm trying to say. Play on your strengths within your romantic connections. If you're actually good at something, play on that, right? If you are somebody that picks out really great gifts, right? Is somebody that has that as your love language, play on that, right? Maybe for an anniversary this month or something like that, you get them like a really thoughtful and wonderful gift. So it's saying like play on your strengths here. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to do things that are maybe out of your wheelhouse. But yeah, definitely play on your strengths, and your romantic partnerships will go pretty smooth this month for sure. All right, what's important? A lot of stuff is important, but what is Spirit saying this month? Set your sights higher. Okay, so this is also about potential. This is about potential. This is about understanding that you might be keeping yourself small in some places. This is about going beyond what the goals that you have set for yourself. So this is about maybe planning out a little bit more. Having bigger goals, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So it's important to revisit those, okay? And set your sights higher and go beyond what you've set your potential to be. So go beyond your potential for sure. I see that as, again, a really good sign. Same thing with Star Ancestor, right? Is because, again, we could have been at survival mode for a long period of time where we can't see beyond our bare minimum of what we can do every day, right? So now this is basically saying, no, you can do more now. Like you graduated to a place where you can do more. So now it's about revisiting those goals and understanding that. All right, health and wellness. We have seeker upside down, inability to commit to a path once found. There's that commit word again. Okay, so basically it's saying that we're unable to commit to a path, one direction to go on. So this might be like shiny object syndrome. This might be like we have multiple decisions to make, and it's under health and wellness, okay? And I don't actually necessarily see this as a negative thing. This is basically saying like we have multiple paths to get where we need to go, okay? And sometimes it's more so the negative part is like the analysis paralysis, right? If anybody's ever heard that term, where we're afraid to make the wrong decision, or we don't want to commit to one particular thing. We want to try, maybe a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that. And basically Spirit is saying, yeah, we can do that. Try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that. But the worst thing that you can do is stay stuck and not make a decision, right? That's the negative here, is like, don't not make a decision. So this is basically saying, make one no matter what. So, or maybe the decision is maybe a little bit of A, maybe a little of B, and maybe a little bit of C, and maybe a little bit of D, okay? So maybe there's a treatment plan where you're, the doctor says you can do, you can go to, you can go this route, you can take this medication, or you can do it holistically doing this, or you can do both together, or you can, or option D, not do anything. You wouldn't want D, is basically what I'm trying to say. You would want to maybe do them both. You would maybe, maybe just do A, and then maybe if A doesn't work out, then, a couple months down the road, you do B. So basically this is saying like, don't get so tripped up on what is the quote unquote right path. I know we're having issues with the knowing, but I would use the intuition a little bit more in the inner knowing. And then also, what we need to do is like follow what our soul wants us to do. So I would obviously integrate your intuition with this decision, but you don't want the analysis paralysis, okay? it's definitely saying make a decision this month, okay? And if you want to do multiple, that's cool too. If you want to do A, that's cool. If you want to do B, after A fails, or you want to change your mind, or, you know, whatever. It's just, it says just pick a path. Okay, don't be so, again, analysis paralysis. So it's not a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. It's just like, don't get stuck is basically the gist of that, I would say. All right, overall outcome, milk and honey. Okay, bittersweet, yay. I think this is positive because basically this is saying you get to the treat at the end of the rainbow of maybe like a difficult journey. And it's sweet. It's a sweet reward. So definitely it feels like towards the end of May, we're gonna feel like things are a sweet reward. Even if we've been through, looking at the past couple of months, or even this past month, that things have been kind of tumultuous, saying that it'll get better towards the end. Even if we feel like we've had to let go of things, even if we feel like we've had to go through something difficult, or have had to go through something challenging. But it definitely does feel like we get that reward at the end, that there is really good energy, towards the end of the month that feels like we're like, where we could like take a deep breath and be like, whew, we made it, like kind of type energy. And I love that. The rainbow is always a symbol for that. So I love this card so much to end with, for sure. So guys, I think it's a pretty good month. I am personally a little, just throwing some personal stuff in here, I'm a little bit, maybe taken aback by the energy of May, because this, and I mentioned it last couple of readings that I did, is that we are in a year of the snake, and letting things go and that kind of thing. I think it's a 9 year. Yeah, it's a numerology. I had to think for a second because I was tripping myself up. It is also a numerology year 9, and that's really about endings. It's about forgiveness as well. 9 vibrates at that energy. It's about humanitarian. We've been getting some advocate work and stuff like that coming up, doing things for other people, etc. For the greater good, which this king kind of represents here. But I've been expecting like more endings. It is usually numerology. It gets stronger. The 9 gets stronger as the year goes on. I'm hoping June will be a lot more definitive in those endings. So I hope we get a lot of, I'm just making predictions here, or at least putting it out there. I hope we get some 9s. I hope we get a lot of let goes. 9s on cards, letting go, snake energy. We definitely have a snake card somewhere in one of these decks. So I'm really hoping it'll start like speeding up a little bit more in June. So if you guys are feeling like you're waiting for something to end, things are gonna, we get it every once in a while. It's kind of going gradual, but if you're like me and a little bit like disappointed where you want things to kind of speed up, I totally understand. And hopefully, again, starting in June, the second half of the year, at least, that closes out the first half of the year, and then obviously July starts the second. But things get a lot more looking like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel type energy. So I look forward to that. But May does not look quote unquote bad. I think it looks really great. I wouldn't call anything a red flag, to be honest with you. Let me look again. Yeah, there's no like real red flags here, okay? We have challenges with the commitment thing, the motivation thing. It's all right. It seems like we move past it. We don't have it with our relationships, which is good. But with other stuff that's kind of like going on. But we move past it, it feels like. Towards the end, again, like I said, towards the end of the month, it's definitely going to feel more so like, whew, we got through it type energy. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful month. Like I said, I'll see you in the next month. And of course, I'll see you in the weeklies, but put down below what resonates, what doesn't, or any feedback. Just be kind, as I usually say. And have a good month, guys. Bye.